Hey there, Nopenguin here, and people say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game of luck. That games are fully determined by what one draws and the decks they play. But I say no to that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a thinking man's game. Games are determined by how smart, cunning, and based you are. Which is probably why I never win. But to prove my theory, I shall take the new chess archetype printed in Battle of Legends Monstrous Revenge, and pair them with the most Oonga Boonga deck that I can find. That's right, today we are playing 200 IQ Warrocks. And here is the list, finally. Strategy, mind games, and hitting the opponent with big guys, all together in one deck. This is the deck of big guys and even bigger brains. But how does it work? The puppet cards are a chess-themed archetype that summons out their king and queen when the opponent adds a monster from their deck to their hand. And the little chess pieces help set this up by giving your opponent the opportunity to do so at their own risk. To understand further, let us get into the card by card. Starting us off, we have Triple Puppet Rook. This is our main normal summon for the deck. When normal summon, dump an Earth Warrior from your deck to the grave. In most cases, it'll be our pawn to set up the play I will go over next, but it is able to send any of our Earth Warriors, so you can send a high level monster to help set up its second effect. Only this card can be attacked by your opponent, and when they do declare an attack, you can send this to the graveyard to summon a level 6 or higher Earth Warrior in your graveyard, then continue that attack with that new target. Works really well on opponents who just do not want to read. And using our normal summon on this is no trouble, as the deck does well to summon Warrocks from the hand or graveyard. Next we have two Puppet Pawns, our main send targets. This card can attack directly, and when it does, you can add a promotion from your deck to your hand, a card we'll get into a bit later. More importantly, it can banish itself from the grave to add any Earth Warrior from your deck to your hand. Then it gives your opponent the opportunity to add any monster to their hand. Now why would we do this? Because most of the time when we use this effect, we are adding Queen. Her effect states that when the opponent adds a monster, you can special summon this card for free, then you can special summon a level 7 Earth Warrior from your hand or graveyard, which could be a Warrock or Puppet King. It has the same summoning requirements as Queen, but more importantly, when you special summon it off of Queen, Queen gives all Earth Warriors you control 1000 attack each. This combo is great for setting up quick lethal, cause who's gonna say no to a monster search? This is a foolproof plan and will absolutely work as intended every single time. On to our Warrocks. Almost all of them have an effect that can activate the turn an Earth Warrior battled, and the level 4 ones can all special summon a big Warrock from the deck when it's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. To start us off, we have one Warrock Bashialos, 2700, and the turn a warrior battles, it gains the effect to attack directly and gives all Warrock monsters to control 200 attack. And if this is in your hand or graveyard when an Earth Warrior is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this out for free. And then Triple Warrock Meteor Dragon. Cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and when it battles, negate the effect of that opponent's monster plus monsters with that name for the rest of the turn. And if a Earth Warrior has battled, this card gains a second attack and gives all your Warrocks 200 attack points. But most importantly, he is a level 7, and he is basically the main summon off of our Puppet Queen. Next we're playing one copy of Warrock Skylar. Gains 100 attack for every monster your opponent controls, and during the battle phase in which your Earth Warrior battled, you can target a level 5 or lower warrior monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, all war monsters you control gain 200 attack, but for the rest of the turn you cannot attack directly with level 5 or lower monsters. Next we are playing one Warrock Orpisk. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are warriors, you can normal summon this without tributing. And if your Earth Warrior monster battles, you can dump an Earth Warrior from your deck to the graveyard except itself. Finally, the level 4s, we are playing Triple Warrock Gactos. If an Earth Warrior monster is normal summoned to your field, you can special summon this from your hand, and if this monster is sent from your monster zone to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one level 5 or higher Warrock from your hand or deck. And finally, Triple Warrock Fortia. If your Earth Warrior monster battled, you can just add a Warrock card from your deck to your hand. Then everyone gains 200 attack. And just like Gyarados, if this is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, special summon a level 5 or higher from your deck. And we actually have one more engine. Todoroki the Earthbolt Star, Senko the Skybolt Star, and Kita the Hidden Star are all cards that support the same strategy of the Iditen the Conquering Star and all of its other like fusions. Most importantly is this one. You can special summon it by sending a monster from your hand to the graveyard, but this card loses 500 attack. But that's not important. What's important is during the battle phase, as a quick effect, you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a fusion monster using monsters in your hand or field as material. Now just at a base level, being able to attack with all your monsters and then fusion summon for an even bigger monster for an additional attack is great by itself. But as you'll see when we go through the fusions, these are no slouches. Senko is like Gyarados, that it can special summon itself if a Earth monster is normal summoned, and Kai'Sa special summons itself by tributing a card you control and lets you dump from the deck. Finally, we are talking about Prosperous Warrior Lady. This is Warrior Honest, literally just Warrior Honest. When an attack is declared with your warrior monster, you can discard this card. Your opponent's monster loses attack equal to its original attack. And when in the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard to target an Earth Warrior in your grave, add it to your hand. Then we are playing triple extra because we really don't need the extra deck. And finally, Warrock Dignity. This is probably the best bit of Warrock support we have ever gotten. It is a quick play spell that if you control a Warrock monster, you can negate the effect of a monster your opponent activates on their field, or if you're during the battle phase, you can also negate spell and trap card effects. This card is actually the best bit of support the Warrock deck has, and is actually an answer to Evenly Matched. One Warrock Spirit, it's a bit of a battle phase monster reborn as a quick effect, and triple Warrock Mountain. When activated, add a Warrock from your deck to your hand, and during the battle phase you can special summon a Warrock from your hand, and if a warrior monster you control will be destroyed, you can send it to the graveyard instead. And we're also playing one copy of the Puppet Support Promotion. Target a level 3 or lower Earth Warrior monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon a level 4 or higher Earth Warrior monster from your deck. And finally, one called by, one reinforcements. We have a pretty generic link lineup. Only outliers here are the Ferocious Flame Swordsman and Rata and the Heavenly General, but I want to get to the fusions. For starters, we are playing double Raijin the Breakbolt Star. It requires a level 5 or higher light warrior monster and an earth warrior monster. And this card reads that you can attack a defense position monster to inflict piercing damage, and if this card battles a monster without a level, it deals double battle damage. Then the man himself, Itiden the Conquering Star, 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters. If fusion summoned, add a level 5 warrior from your deck to your hand. And most importantly, during damage calculation, if it battles an opponent's monster with an equal or lower level, you can just make the opponent's monster's attack 0. And finally, Shura the Combat Star. It requires a level 5 or higher warrior monster plus Ititen the Conquering Star. Once returned during the battle phase as a quick effect, you can make the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls 0. That's right, all of them. No restrictions on if it has a level or not, just everything they control 0. And once per battle phase, you can make each battling monster gain attack equal to their level times 2000. So Shura here will gain 2400 extra attack. And if this is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon a Ititen the Conquering Star directly from your extra deck. This deck is big brain, and I'm so ready to show you exactly what it's capable of. Let's get into the replays. Our first replay is up against Hero. They get to go first, and they are going to summon Vion. Vion's going to send the Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is going to go ahead and add Liquid Soldier. They are going to poly using the Liquid Soldier to go into Sunriser. Sunriser is going to add, they're going to draw 2, and not really get enough to go off, so they're going to send one and pass. I get to go first, and this is actually looking really good. The Todoroki can go ahead and get some fusion during the battle phase. Use the pawn effect, but they actually don't add. I guess they read Queen's effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into Itiden, figuring a big guy is big enough. I'll get a bunch of damage in, not enough for lethal. I will set my spell and pass. That is the best draw they could have gotten here. They are going to activate it to get a Stratos out. Stratos will go ahead and add themselves to their hand Shadow Mist, which Ferris can then send to set themselves an increase, and go ahead and add with the Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is going to add a Stratos. Stratos normal summon will get rid of our back row. Then they can increase, distribute the Stratos, summon it to get out a Vion from the deck. Vion will go ahead and special summon out what else but a Malicious. Then they're going to Cross Guy. Cross Guy is going to bring out Decider, and from here they're going to use Cross Guy's effect to go ahead and search. Plasma. Plasma is actually really good here because I can go ahead, tribute 3, go into Plasma. Plasma can absorb my big guy, make him an even bigger guy, go into Wake Your Elemental Hero, and have just so much damage. Now, I do have the Warrior Lady here, so I can get rid of their Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, but they can destroy my card, inflict damage to me, and they have so much damage on board. With the Plasma there, he can easily beat over my Warrock, hit me for face, and I have literally nothing to do because they have, of course, Mass Change for game. Our next replay is up against Dinomorphia. They get to go first. They're going to normal summon Teresia and go ahead and set an intact. Then they're going to set 2 and pass. I'm going to go, and I'm looking pretty good here. I do have the dignity, so I can go ahead and negate something during the battle phase, but they're not going to wait for that. They're going to immediately go ahead and special summon the Katragina, and I'm going to activate Mountain, and they're going to go for another fusion summon. So now I cannot activate monster effects with 2000 or more attack. Luckily, Pawn is not that, so I'm going to be able to go ahead and special summon a Meteor Dragon out, get out a guy, go into our Flame Swordsman so I could use the effect of Pawn. They will unfortunately negate it with the intact. I'll go into battle phase, special summon off of the Warrock, attack over it, but they will activate its effect. I will dignity to negate it, and unfortunately, because they use intact, they're going to negate that battle damage. I will use the Swordsman to go ahead and special summon out a Dragini instead, set 1 and pass. They're going to use another trap to go ahead and special summon 2 of them from the graveyard, get both of their effects off, and they are looking really good here for the next turn. They burned me for a lot, and now I am completely out of it because they're going to go Foster Dig, grab themselves the Miscellaneous Saurus, and when I actually go to use the effect of my Dignity here, I am going to activate it here. They have the Miscellaneous Saurus in hand, so it doesn't even matter if they have the Logia because I lose. Our final replay is up against Runic Magical Musketeer. They get to go first, and please just give me one win. They're going to go ahead and get themselves their fountain. They're going to activate their card, targeting their own monster to go ahead and draw off of the fountain, getting 3 draws, and it's looking pretty good because now they can go ahead, Morganite to go ahead and get another normal summon during the next turn, get a couple of guys out, activate in the same column as their musketeers to get their search effects, and their hand is looking really good, and I'm just going to go from here. My hand's also looking not that bad. I'm going to be able to get Extravagance off, draw 2, I have a handful of guys. They're going to be able to special summon because I activated in its column by mistake, but it's a once per turn, so I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to Rook, go for Gactos. Rook's going to go ahead and send Pawn. Pawn will go ahead and add, and they actually do add, so I can use the Queen effect. And from here, Queen is going to go ahead and special summon a Meteor Dragon. I'm going to go into this. They are actually going to destroy my Meteor Dragon, but it cannot be destroyed. And because I have a Warrock on the field, I can go ahead and negate it with Dignity. Unfortunately, they still have the Runic cards. So Gactos will be able to activate his effect as special summon, but they're going to get a bunch of draws here and a search from the Musket monster. I'm going to continue attacking here, negating the effects as I go along. Special summoning cards back from the graveyard to help clean up house. And I'm going to keep on attacking their monsters, cleaning up what I can, but their hand is absolutely stacked. From here, I'm going to get a good amount of damage, but not enough for lethal. I'm going to go ahead and just end on a Swordsman in case they do something funky. They're going to draw 2 because of the Morganite, and Super Poly is going to get rid of all of my good stuff, because they're going to go to Garura, and they are just going to keep gaining advantage, searching because they activate in their column, and they're actually going to be able to go for the Link one to add so many cards. Oh my god. This is kind of a disgusting deck, because they're just going to keep being able to use their cards, recycle them back, draw more cards. Look at that, and I tried to activate my effect to grab one from the graveyard. They are going to banish them, get a bunch of draws past turn because they have no battle phase. I'm going to try to do something, but Tikbu basically ends the game here. I'm going to add my Warrior Lady just so I can have some kind of protection. They're going to try to make me 0. I make them 0, and nothing happens. From here, I am just sitting on a lone queen, hoping for the absolute everything that I win here, but with a handful of cards that they can activate immediately, I had no shot. So is the deck dumb, or am I dumb? Anyways, let's talk about the deck. Yeah, clearly Warrocks weren't going to be broken with these puppet cards. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't have played the card that let my opponent add whatever they wanted. But it's funny, right? In all seriousness, I did enjoy my time with the deck. The Warrock cards are fun, just surprisingly lacking in output. Like, even in turns where I'm able to get a full board of guys out, I kind of struggle to FDK, because as the deck always wants to go second, I'm always having to break down some kind of board, and I'm never able to make enough guys on the field to be able to break through their boards and then go for lethal. Maybe it's just my build, maybe I shouldn't have made this deck to begin with, who knows. All I know is that we need Puppet Knight and Puppet Bishop. That's what will fix the deck. Let's go, Konami, you know you want to do it. But until then, like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. I am Nopenguin, Warrock Rookie, signing out.